past, remembrance of things past, the incidents, the accidents, the pleasures, that memory has a continuity. Memory. And memory then says, I've had this experience. I must be careful. Right?
Right.
So, there is no other factor than the continuity of memory. That continuity is the self, the remembrance. So memory, though it appears to have continuity, it is a dead thing. So I seek security in something dead.
Yes.
So, can you observe without any movement of thought interfering with your observation? It is only possible when the observer realizes that which he is observing are one. The observer is the observed. Anger is not different from me. I am angry. I am jealousy. So there is no division between the observer and the observed. That is the basic reality one must capture. And to observe without the observer, just to observe, then you will see the whole of consciousness, the whole of it begins to reveal itself without your making an effort. Which means, in that total observation, there is the emptying of going beyond all the things that thought has put together, which is our consciousness. The reality which thought has made, is not truth. It's the reality of thought. I experienced that. Oh, come on, sir. I have projected that and I experienced that. So, the experiencer is the experience. And if there is no experience, what is the state of mind? Do you understand all these questions? We're all wanting experiences. And when one actually goes into it very, very deeply, experience, we hope, will bring about more knowledge, more clarity, more this and more that. But the experiencer is the experience. Therefore, the mind is no longer seeking any experience. Only such a mind is absolutely clear. It requires no challenge. That's a different problem. So, is there pure observation of the movement of the self? Because in that, the self is not different from the observer. There is only observation. Without the past accumulated memories interfering with observation. When the past memories and accumulated knowledge interfere, then there is wastage of energy. I don't know if you're following all this. Wastage of energy in conflict, in denying, in suppressing, in arguing of why should I, rationalizing the whole business, which is a form of conflict. Now, that's a wastage of energy. Whereas when there is observation without the past, there is all energy is brought into being, all energy comes in that observation which dispels that which is observed. It's up to you. I've said it 10 different ways. So there is no conflict with the self or denial of the self or suppression of the self. It is the clarity of observation which is the greatest form of intelligence. Sitting quietly, or standing or walking, without any motive. The word motive means movement. Power, the power to move. And when you're walking quietly by yourself or with somebody, you can watch the trees, the birds, and the rivers, and the mountains, and the sunshine on the leaves, and so on, so on. And in the very watching of all that, you're also watching yourself. Not striving, making tremendous efforts to achieve something. I know those of you who are committed to all this, to the other kind of meditation, find it awfully hard to throw it off. Because your mind is already conditioned. You have practiced this thing for several years, and you're stuck. And somebody comes along and says, what nonsense all this is. And perhaps at a rare moment you become rational and say, yes, perhaps this is wrong. Then begins the trouble. The conflict between what you have found for yourself to be wrong and what you have been practicing for the last 5, 10, 3 years. And this struggle is called progress, spiritual progress. You understand all this? Person to tell me what to do, right? So I realized the stupidity of going to another to help me to break down the walls which I have built around myself. Right? So what am I to do? Are you in that position? What am I to do to break down this wall which I have built, society has built, and society is my relationship with another? So I have built it. It is my desire, my ambition, my sensations, my will that has built this enormous, limited prison. Now what am I to do? I realize whatever positive act I do about it is still the action of a mind, a thought, which is limited. Whatever I do. You understand? I hope you're following this. Is it time or getting tired? No, it's not. I've got another 10 minutes. So I realize it's no good depending on another. The other may be guru, the priest, or the idea that you are surrender yourself to all that nonsense. So, What am I to do? My conditioning is, please listen to it, my conditioning is to do something about it. I have been to the priest, I have been to the guru, I have been to the professor, to the analyst, which is again doing something about it. Or I say, well, no, it's too troublesome, I'll leave it alone. What the heck does it matter? Right? But if I don't, my conditioning is to act. I'm positive in that action. At least I feel I'm doing something about it, which is part of my conditioning, my culture, my tradition, my education. And here is a man comes along and tells me, don't do anything. You understand? Don't do a thing. Because he has told, I've realized that positive action is totally inaction. Whereas, to be with it and not act. I know I'm conditioned, I won't act, but I will watch. You understand? Watching, alert, aware. And I see every response is from that conditioning. I observe, I don't do anything. So, when there is non-positive action, you don't give energy to the conditioning. That dies by itself when you don't give it a push or suppress it or run away from it. But when you are aware of it and don't act, because that's the most, you realize non-action is intelligence. Action is unintelligence. You follow this? So if you do this, I mean, if this takes place, it's all over. That's why we talked about the other day, positive and action, which is what is happening in the world. Russia says, I must build an armament stronger than America. You follow? And every country is being supplied by them, and they are fighting. Which is to take positive action to keep power, position. I am bigger than you. Right? When I said, see all this, the stupidity of man. Right? See it and leave it alone. Then the leaving it alone is intelligence which will act, which is unconditioned. That's enough. You understand? You're angry. Your tradition, your culture says, suppress it, control it, escape from it, and rationalize it. I say that's a wasting your energy, which prevents you from observing the only fact, which is anger. So anger has no opposite. There is only that, and you have the energy. Now, next step. Why do you call it anger? Because previously you have been angry. By naming it as anger, you have emphasized the previous experience. Right? So you are observing the present factor with the previous experience. Therefore, conditioning the present factor. Are you meeting this? Come on, sir. So, the naming is a wastage of energy. So you do not name, no control, no suppression, no escape, right? And you have the energy. Then is there anger? Don't say you don't know. Because you are then facing the only factor. And when you are facing completely that factor, the factor doesn't exist. Because it exists only when you are escaping, fighting, controlling, suppressing. Right? You have got it? So, there is in me, in one human being, this duality. Right? And I ask myself, is there a duality at all? There is man, woman, sunshine, that's obvious. But psychologically, are there opposites? Or only thought invented the opposite because it could not solve the one factor? Have you got it? Please. And this requires attention, doesn't it? Right? Because to see this clearly, you need to observe. And you are prevented from observing when thought says, I must do something about it. It is thought that has said, I must control. Otherwise I'll kill somebody. It is thought that has said, I must suppress it. I don't know what to do about it. I must run away from it. I must watch it. These are all the activities of thought. When you say, I must watch it. So, thinking about the factor is a wastage of energy. You understand all this? There is no wastage of energy when there is only observation. Well, that's right, isn't it? I hope all the cars are getting washed. Do you mean by observation, you are that? You understood the question? Do you mean by observation, you see you are that? Aren't you that? No, do see clearly. Aren't you that anger? It's part of you. So, thought says, I must do something about that part. So thought begins to function. I must not, I must, it's right, it's wrong, it should be, you follow? So, to observe without thought. You've understood, sir? Now, can you listen to that rain? Please listen quietly. Can you listen to that rain without thinking about the rain? Right? You can only listen to the rain completely when you are not resisting it. When you say, I can't hear, I must hear. So, you listen, observe, when there is no resistance of any kind. Now, are you free of the opposite? You understand? Are you free at the end of this talk? Are you free of it? Never enter into the field of the opposite. Oh, come on, sir. Yes, sir.
When I see anger or confusion, when I see confusion very clearly, seeing that confusion very clearly is clarity. Anger or confusion is clarity. The seeing of confusion clearly is clarity. Clarity is the end of confusion.
The gentleman says, when I see confusion, observe it totally, not wanting to get beyond it, not trying to find a way out of it, or ask somebody to help you to clear up that confusion. When you see it clearly, then there is clarity.
And no confusion.
There is clarity, of course, obviously, no confusion.
Now, let me ask you a question. When I see the brutality of the war that is taking place